Hello students, welcome to BA147 Module 7, Technology for Interpreters and Translators. And today we're going to focus on audiovisual translation. This field involves techniques that make audiovisual content like movies, TV shows, corporate videos that are accessible to diverse global audiences. And by the end of this module, you'll have a clearer understanding of the various tools and the processes used in this area, and perhaps explore something that you can get into, a field related to translation and interpretation. Audiovisual translation encompasses many disciplines and tasks performed by professionals who help localize audiovisual content. AVT is a critical part of adapting content for international audiences, and it covers subtitles, dubbing, audio descriptions, and much more. For instance, think about how Netflix offers options for subtitles or dubbing in dozens of languages for popular shows like Stranger Things. These techniques are essential for global reach and inclusivity. Subtitles are a written translation of a dialogue, usually categorized as translation into a different language. And who is this for? This is for people who speak another language or may have a learning disability. Subtitles are the written translation of spoken dialogue that are displayed on the screen to help viewers understand the content in a language they may not speak. As in the picture here, if you've watched Squid Game, a Korean drama that became a global phenomenon, you've likely relied on subtitles to follow the intense and captivating story. Subtitles bridge the language gap, allowing non-Korean speakers to connect with the characters and their struggles. However, subtitles are more than just translations. They are crafted to convey meaning, emotion, and the cultural nuances within a limited space and time. For example, when a character in Squid Game uses a Korean idiom, the subtitle might adapt the phrase to something culturally equivalent in the target language, so the viewer grasps the intended meaning. Subtitles also serve audiences with certain learning disabilities to help them process and retain dialogue at their own pace. And this accessibility has made subtitles a valuable tool not only for entertainment, but also for education, so that viewers can improve their language skills or learn about other cultures while enjoying global media. The success of Squid Game demonstrates the power of subtitles in making storytelling truly universal, connecting millions of viewers worldwide regardless of any language they speak. Closed captioning here displays the audio portion of a television program as text on the TV screen. This gives critical links to news, entertainment, and information. This may be for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. Closed captioning goes beyond mere subtitles by including non-speech elements like sound effects or music cues. For example, during an action scene in a movie, captions might read, "explosions in the background," or "tense music playing." This service is mandated for many programs by the Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, and is invaluable for individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. Subtitles for the deaf or hard of hearing, SDH, technically is similar to subtitles and includes most auditory information, like closed captions. Real-time SDH is re-speaking. There's an article in the module for that. And this is for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. This goes beyond standard subtitles, and these cues might describe background noises, music, or the tone of a character's voice. For example, in the picture here, we have a screenshot of SDH subtitle, R2D2 beeps cheerily, which gives viewers an idea of not just what is happening, but also how it feels, a cheerful tone from the droid. This is crucial for audiences who are deaf or hard of hearing because they may not be able to pick up on the auditory details that enhance the emotional or narrative context of a scene. Imagine watching an intense horror movie. An SDH caption might say, "ominous music playing," or "floor creaking in the distance." These details add depth to the experience and helps viewers fully immerse themselves in the story. SDH is especially valuable for complex or noisy scenes where multiple sounds are happening simultaneously. In an action-packed battle scene in Star Wars, for example, SDH might include captions like laser blasts firing or explosions in the background. This helps not only have the accessibility, but ensures that no one misses out on the nuances of the story. Also, SDH identifies speakers, which can be particularly difficult when the source of the dialogue is not visible on the screen. For example, you have a subtitle, Darth Vader breathing heavily, and provides immediate sense of the characters and the tone without needing to hear it. And Darth Vader may not be on the screen at that time. Or even if he's in the screen, because he has a mask, people who are hard of hearing cannot see him breathing. And thanks to SDH, these cinematic experiences become inclusive for everyone, so that everyone, including deaf or hard of hearing, can enjoy this story and the emotional impact of this audiovisual media. Audio description gives a narration of visual details such as actions, settings, or facial expressions for those who are blind or visually impaired. For instance, during a dramatic moment in Game of Thrones, the narrator might describe a character's reaction. Jon Snow draws his sword and stares intensely at the enemy. This enhances the accessibility and ensures a fuller experience for visually impaired audiences. Opera theater translation. These are supertitles or surtitles. This is translated text projected on the screen above the stage and signable translations. A new version of the text meticulously set to the original music. And this is for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. For example, at the Metropolitan Opera, English translations are displayed for non-Italian speakers during performances of La Traviata. Singable translations are also used to create versions of operas that can be performed in a different language while preserving the musicality. Voiceover includes here in two tracks, the original and the target language. This is for people who speak another language or may have a learning disability. This includes layering a translated voice track over the original audio. This is common in documentaries, where the original speaker's voice remains faintly audible underneath the translated voice. For example, in nature documentaries like Planet Earth, a voiceover translation allows the content to reach non-English speaking audiences while preserving the authenticity of the original narration. Lip sync dubbing. This replaces the original speech with a translated voice track. This is for people who speak another language or also may have a learning disability. And this matches the lip movements of the characters. This technique is widely used in movies and TV shows, like the Spanish series Money Heist, La Casa de Papel, where English dubbed versions allow global audiences to enjoy the show as if it were originally in their language. Transcription is the act of transcribing the content of an audio track or a video in the same language. Transcriptions are generally required in legal contexts, and sometimes they aid the edition or montage of a film. Localization and transcreation. Localization adapts content to suit cultural and linguistic preferences. For instance, a video game like The Legend of Zelda undergoes localization to reflect cultural nuances, from text translation to adapting imagery or references. Transcreation goes a step further, reimagining marketing content entirely to resonate with a new audience's cultural context, such as rewriting an advertisement slogan to maintain its emotional appeal in another language. Localization and transcreation are vital processes for tailoring content to suit cultural and regional preferences. A perfect example of this is Coca-Cola. Did you know that Coca-Cola tastes slightly different depending on the country where you drink it? This difference is part of their localization strategy. For example, in the US, Coca-Cola is sweetened with high fructose corn syrup, while in Mexico, it's made with cane sugar, which gives it a distinct flavor. Likewise, in some regions, the carbonation levels or even the flavor profile may be adjusted to align with local taste preferences. I'm not sure if it's still there, but Las Vegas used to have a Coke museum where you could go and taste Coke from different parts of the world. And localization doesn't stop at taste. It extends to the packaging, the branding, even the advertising. If you've seen the Coca-Cola bottles in different countries, you might notice how the labels reflect local languages and cultural elements. For example, during the Lunar New Year in China, Coca-Cola releases special editions with festive designs and messages in Mandarin, celebrating the holiday with their customers. Transcreation focuses on adapting marketing content in a way that resonates emotionally with the target audience. For example, Coca-Cola's famous Share a Coke campaign used personalized names on bottles in various countries. while the US version featured popular American names. In other regions, the names were carefully selected to reflect the local culture, traditions, and even linguistic preferences. These strategies show how global brands like Coca-Cola succeed in creating a local connection while maintaining their universal appeal, making their products feel close to home no matter where they are in the world. And finally, game or app localization. This involves translating the interface, the audio, and the text to suit foreign language markets. For example, you may have seen apps like Instagram and games like Fortnite that provide tailored versions for different regions, including translated menus, localized user interfaces, and culturally relevant examples. And this helps the creators reach a global audience while at the same time maintaining a seamless user experience. So now go ahead to the next section in this module to see some examples of these applications.